Exercise 4.3. The following information relates to Wombat stores on 30 July 2025. Required 4.3.1. Indicate whether the following statements are true or false. Number 1. A favorable bank balance is indicated as a credit on the bank statement. That's true. Number 2. An EFT payment by a debtor must only be recorded in the cash receipts journal when the amount of the payment appears on the bank statement. That's also true. Number 3. A credit for interest on the bank statement must be added in the cash payments journal. That is false. It goes to the cash receipts journal because a credit for interest on the bank statement is a favorable interest on current account. Number 4. Costs levied by the bank for EFT payments do not form part of bank charges. That is false. Cost levied is a bank charge. And then 5. The bank reconciliation statement is an internal control activity to prevent fraud and identify errors. That is true. In 4.3.2, use the following columns provided on the answer sheet to show how each transaction would be treated in the bank reconciliation process. The example given, the bank statement shows the following divisions: EFT costs 150 Rand, internet banking fees 300 Rand, and service fees 250 Rand. Now we know all of these costs are classified as bank charges, so you're going to add them up together. If you add those three amounts, you get 700. So if you go to your answer sheet on the next page, bank charges is an expense which goes to our CPJ. The name of the account or details will be bank charges. Now we're going to do exactly that for the following transactions. I will read the transaction and we will enter it step by step on our answer sheet. So go to your answer sheet on the next page. Let's record our first transaction. An EFT for 270 Rand issued to report for the placement of an advertisement was incorrectly shown as 720 Rand in the CPJ. The correct amount of the EFT appears on the bank statement. So since no error took place on the bank statement, we have to fix the journal. Now instead of paying 270 Rand, we overpaid. We paid 720 Rand. Now we know that the details will be advertisement. The calculation is 720 minus 270, which is a difference of 450 Rand. And we're going to use our CRJ journal to rectify it. You always use the opposite journal to fix the mistake. We paid too much, so we need to receive some of the money back. So we go fix it in our CRJ, and the difference is 450. The next transaction, the bank statement shows a direct deposit relating to rental. The tenants deposited the rent for July and August directly into the bank. The rental contract determines that the rent amounts to 16,000 Rand per month and that it increases every year on the 1st of August with 10%. So we know our details is rent income. It's going to involve a calculation. July is 16,000, but August is 16,000 plus an additional 10%. So the rental for August is 17,600. So the total rental income to be received is 33,600 Rand. So we are going to record 33,600 Rand in our CRJ because rent income goes to our CRJ. Next entry, the bank statement shows interest on debit balance. Now, an interest on a debit balance is an unfavorable interest, so we call that interest on overdraft. And interest on overdraft is an expense, so it will go to our CPJ, 860 Rand. Number 4. The bank reconciliation statement on 30 June shows an outstanding EFT for 4,300 Rand, issued to Bell Stores for stationery. The EFT appears on the bank statement for July as 3,400 Rand. The amount on the bank statement is correct. So it is stationery as the details. We are going to do a calculation. 4,300 minus 3,400 gives us a difference of 900 Rand. And we are going to enter that difference in our CRJ because, again, we were only supposed to pay 3,400 Rand, but we paid 4,300 instead, so we paid too much, so we will have to use the opposite journal, which is our CRJ journal, to fix the error. The difference of 900 Rand will be recorded in our CRJ. Next entry. The cash payments journal for July 2025 shows an EFT for 5,700 Rand to Santam for the monthly insurance of the private vehicle of the owner. However, the amount of the EFT appears incorrectly as 7,500 Rand on the bank statement. So now this time the bank statement is the error. So if there was an error on the bank statement, we have to fix it in our bank reconciliation statement. So again, it's going to involve a calculation. 7,500 minus 5,700 gives you a difference of 1,800 Rand, which we are going to credit. And in details, you will say credit amount too much debited. The next transaction. A cash deposit of 3,950 Rand in the cash receipts journal appears incorrectly on the debit side of the bank statement. So we first have to correct the error and then post it. So we are going to say 3,950 times 2, which gives us 7,900 Rand. So in the credit column of our bank recon statement, we're going to say 7,900. And our details will be credit deposit erroneously debited. Next transaction. A debit order of 8,100 Rand for the monthly insurance appears only on the bank statement for July. We know that we record insurance as an expense in our CPJ journal. So our details will be insurance, and we will put 8,100 Rand in our CPJ. And in the last transaction, an EFT payment of 3,130 for rental expense was incorrectly recorded by the accountant in the cash receipts journal. So again, it's a double entry. It's 3,130 times 2, first to fix the error that was made, and then to put it in what we should have done. So 3,130 times 2 is 6,260. So that will go into our CPJ, and our details is rent expense. Exercise 4.4. The following information relates to Sophia Stores for May 2025. Required. 4.4.1. Explain why it is important to draw up a bank reconciliation statement at the end of every month. 4.4.2. Calculate the totals for your cash receipts and cash payments journal for May 2025. 4.4.3. Prepare the bank account in the general ledger to calculate the balance of the bank account on 31 May 2025. And 4.4.4. Prepare the bank reconciliation statement on 31 May 2025. Information. On the 1st of May 2025, the bank account shows an overdraft of 21,200 Rand. Number 2, on 31 May 2025, before the bank statement was received from the bank, the cash journal showed the following provisional totals. CRJ 38,500 Rand and CPJ 29,100 Rand. Number 3, on 31 May 2025, an electronic bank statement was generated by ABSA. This bank statement shows an unfavorable balance of 8,770 Rand. Number 4, upon closer inspection, the following items that appear on the bank statement but not in the cash journals, as well as errors and omissions that appear on the bank statement, were found. A. A debit order for the insurance of the private vehicle of the owner, 4,700 rand. A direct deposit made by a debtor whose account was previously written off as irrecoverable, 6,000 rand. C. An amount of 12,000 rand was directly deposited in the bank account of the entity in relation to rental fees. The bank levied bank charges of 1,800 rand as well as interest on overdraft 950 rand. E. The bank statement shows a deposit relating to debtors control as 24,000 rand. The amount appears in the cash receipts journal as 2,400 rand. The bank statement is correct. If EFT 907 with regard to wages was loaded by the bank, the correct amount of the EFT appears on the bank statement as 8,500 rand. However, it was recorded incorrectly as 5,800 rand in the cash payments journal. G. EFT 912 with regard to stationery appears correctly as 920 rand on the bank statement, but was wrongly recorded as 9,200 rand in the cash payments journal. I. A debit order for 4,700 rand for rent appears incorrectly on the bank statement of Sophia Stores. It does not relate to the entity at all, and the error will be corrected by the bank. J. A deposit of 17,000 rand on 28 May 2025 and a deposit of 9,400 rand on 30 May 2025 appear in the cash receipts journal but not on the bank statement. K. The following EFTs were loaded and appear in the cash payments journal but not yet on the bank statement, EFT 920 and EFT 921. L. A deposit of 5,400 rand on 13 May appears incorrectly on the bank statement as a debit of 4,500 rand. And M. The bank debited a peculiar EFT 123 for 1,400 rand against the entity's account. This EFT was drawn by SOP Stores and incorrectly debited against the account of Sophia Stores. 4.4.1. Explain why it is important to draw up a bank reconciliation statement at the end of every month. This is an internal control measure to detect errors and omissions and ensure that fraud does not occur and that errors do get corrected. Then 4.4.2, we have to calculate the totals for the cash receipts and cash payments journal. Then we also have to finalize the bank account, and then we have to complete the bank reconciliation statement on 31 May. So in order to complete the rest of the answer sheet, we're going to go back to our additional information for 4.4, and we're going to have to read through 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as I read the transaction, I'm going to go enter it into the appropriate answer sheet. So as you can see, our provisional totals have already been entered. 38,500 is our CPJ journal total that was given to us under additional information number 2. And then our CPJ is 29,100 rand that was given to us on additional information number 2. And then also if you go to your bank account has a balance of 21,200 rand also given to you under additional information number 1. Balance drawdown on the first, 21,200 rand. And then if you go to 4.4.4, your bank reconciliation statement on 31 May, you can enter your opening balance because under information number 3 it says on 31 May 2025 an electronic bank statement was generated by ABSA in the debit column. So So now we've entered all our opening balances. So now I'm going to read from transaction 4A, and we're going to put it in step by step as I read it, and then we can see whether it's going to be rectified in our journals or our bank reconciliation statement. Number A debit order for the insurance of the private vehicle of the owner, 4,700 rand. Firstly, an owner making a private payment is known as drawings. So don't confuse yourself and think that the expense is insurance. It is drawings because it's for the owner's personal use. Now we know expenses goes to our CPJ journal. So in our CPJ, B, a direct deposit made by a debtor whose account was previously written off as irrecoverable, 6,000 rand. So if a debtor's account is previously written off as irrecoverable, we open a new account called bad debts recovered. That is an income, and that goes to our cash receipts journal. So we are going to say bad debts recovered under our cash receipts journal, and we're going to record 6,000 rand. C, an amount of 12,000 was directly deposited in the bank account of the entity in relation to rental fees. So we have an income that we're receiving in the form of rent. So rent income goes to our cash receipts journal, and the amount is 12,000. D, the bank levied bank charges of 1,800 rand as well as interest on overdraft 950 rand. So the bank levying bank charges is an expense. So in our CPJ, we're going to write bank charges, 1,800 rand. And we are also going to have interest on overdraft in our CPJ journal to the value of 950 rand. E, the bank statement shows a deposit relating to debtors control as 24,000 rand. The amount appears in the cash receipts journal as 2,400 rand. So there is a difference between the two amounts. The bank's receipts journal, you're going to say debtors control, and your calculation will be 24,000 minus 2,400, and the difference of 21,600 rand is what you will record in your cash receipts journal under debtors control. Number F, EFT 907 with regards to wages was loaded by the bank. The correct amount of the EFT appears on the bank statement as 8,500 rand. However, it was recorded incorrectly as 5,800 rand in the cash payments journal. So the error took place in the cash payments journal. So wages will have to be adjusted. 8,500 rand minus 5,800 is a difference of 2,700 rand. We still need to record an additional 2,700 rand as an expense for wages because we only recorded 5,800, and the correct amount is the amount on the bank statement, which was 8,500 rand. G, EFT 912 with regard to stationery appears correctly as 920 rand on the bank statement, but it was wrongly recorded as 9,200 rand in the cash payments journal. So we overpaid for stationery. So in order to fix that error, we need to use the opposite journal, which is our cash receipts journal. So in your cash receipts journal, you're going to say stationery, you're going to take the difference of 9,200 minus 920 Rand, which is 8280, because the amount on the bank statement was the correct amount, and that was 920 Rand. So we only should have paid 920 Rand towards stationery, but we made an error. We paid 9,200 Rand. So we rectify this error by putting the difference into our CRJ. Number I. A debit order for 4,700 Rand for rent appears incorrectly on the bank statement of Sophia Stores. It does not relate to the entity at all, and the error will be corrected by the bank. So this time, the error is on the bank statement, which means we need to go and correct the bank reconciliation statement. We're going to say credit faulty debit order 4,700 Rand. So go to your bank reconciliation statement on 31 May of your answer sheet, and now you are going to say credit faulty debit order, and it is 4,700 Rand in the credit column. Number J. A deposit of 17,000 Rand on 28 May and a deposit of 9,400 Rand on 30 May appears in the cash receipts journal but not on the bank statement. So we have to go put that into our bank reconciliation statements. We're going to say credit outstanding deposits. We have two deposits that's outstanding, one for 17,000 and one for 9,400. Then number K. The following EFTs were loaded and appear in the cash payments journal but not yet on the bank statement. EFT 920 for 3,200 Rand and EFT 921 for 4,500 Rand. So we are going to debit outstanding EFTs. We have number 920 and we have number 921. 920 for 3,200 Rand and 921 for 4,500 Rand. Then number L. A deposit of 5,400 Rand on 13 May appears incorrectly on the bank statement as a debit of 4,500 Rand. So because the bank statement had the error, we have to fix this transaction in our bank reconciliation statement. So we are going to say credit deposit erroneously debited. In brackets, you're going to say 5,400 plus 4,500, which gives you 9,900 Rand. And then M, the bank debited a particular EFT 123 for 1,400 Rand against the entity's account. This EFT was drawn by SOP Stores and incorrectly debited against the account of Sophia Stores. So the bank statement had the error, so we have to fix it in our bank reconciliation statement. So we're going to say credit faulty EFT 123. 1,400 Rand in the credit column. Now we've completed all our additional information number 4A to 4M. So let's quickly complete our bank reconciliation statement. We are going to add up our debit side. But you can quickly glance and you can see that our credit side this time is our larger total. So if we add up our credit side, we get 42,400. So we know our debit side is also equal to 42,400. So our balancing figure will be a debit balance according to bank account, and that is 25,930. But another way to check this amount is when we go and complete our bank account. Since we've already entered all our new cash receipts journal and all our new cash payments journal, referring to adjustments number 4, which was 4A to 4M, we can now just add up our bank accounts. So our cash receipts journal bank account gives us a total of 86,380, and our cash payments journal gives us a total of 39,250. Now we can take these totals to complete our bank account. Our bank account already has an opening balance that we've recorded of 21,200 Rand. Our total cash receipts journal is 86,380. That goes on the credit side. We refer it to as sundry accounts CRJ. Our total cash payments journal is 39,250. Our details is also sundry accounts. Now we can add up the debit side. Debit total is 86,380. The credit total will also be 86,380. So we will have a balance carried over on the credit side, which is the difference, so that the two debit and credit sides can equal, and that is 25,930. And that is the balance that we will bring down on the 1st of June. The same balance that you will bring down on the 1st of June, 25,930, and that is the debit balance according to bank account that you will also enter in your bank reconciliation statement, which we did now.